All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. It's going to be a show through the spirit of Yahweh, Yahushai. I know it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, sorry, not easy, but it's not going to be short. Normally, I'm trying to make it short. But it's something that I was passed around. The brother had posted it. I read it and I passed it around as well. And while everybody was out there celebrating New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and all this other nonsense like they normally do, not knowing what truly happened towards Jake, which are you Negroes here in America, you Negroes period, and the islands as well, and Haiti. Okay, all these holidays that Esau have people celebrate, they have a demonic spell to them, and they have a demonic meaning behind them. All right, which we all know January 1st, which just goes back to Janos, which is that old man father time that eats the child, you know, and they celebrate that every year. You got Christmas, which goes back to Semiramis, Tammuz, and what's this guy's name? Nimrod. All right, and throughout history, things change, names change. They may change the origin story of these characters, but it is all the same. But all these holidays or holidays was more dreadful for children of Israel than anything else. And I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna jump around as much as I can. There's a lot of good stuff to it. So this is from the New York Times or the Times.com. It says Americans are likely to think of New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as a time to celebrate fresh start that a new year represents. But there is also a troubling side to the holiday's history. In the years before the Civil War, the first day of the new year was often a heartbreaking one for enslaved people in the United States. In the African American community, or whatever, New Year's Day used to widely known as Hiring Day or Heartbreaking Day, as the African American abolitionist journalist William Cooper Neal described it because enslaved people spent New Year's Eve waiting, wondering if their owners were going to rent them out to someone else, thus potentially splitting up their families. The renting out of slave labor was relatively common practice in the antebellum South and profitable practice for white slave owners and hirers. So this is going to tell you of the splitting. So the splitting of the family was not just when it came through the ships. When Jake came from the ships and was set in the auction block. No, the split in the family was consistent. That's why you have the show Roots that came out in the 1980s. Well, actually, it came out in the 70s. When I was a child, they kept playing it back over. All right, but it will show you the character of Kuta Kente when he got older and he got married to I forgot what was that woman's name, but it doesn't really matter. I remember the daughter's name. Her name was Kizzy, and that heart wrenching sequel when the guy sold Kizzy, because I believe, because the guy was Noah had a past that she wrote, so it's come to find out she knew how to read. So they split the family. So that's no one I put that part in the video. That's something that was etched in stone in the minds of people. But not knowing that it was a certain date that the family would have been splitting up. All right, a particular date, which is crazy. So they was celebrating Christmas with the slave owners, which wasn't really much a celebration for them either. And 7 days later, the potential of families to get split up again. Real quick, thinking of what I'm thinking of. Of course, Deuteronomy 28 and Deuteronomy 28. Well, this is a good one. And 30, it says, "Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof." So the key thing is, and it showed in another film. I'm thinking about. There's a lot of films that we have main films. The most horrific film that we all could think of is Goodbye Uncle Tom. That's the top of the notch right there. But there was another one with Drum. That's what it was. It was Drum. Yeah, married a woman, but guess who had the first dibs? Oh, even in Mandingo, they showed you that. All right, and this is part of the curses that the Lord will put upon us, proving that we are those people. Verse 32, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand." So keep that in mind. I have to bring that out again. It says, now back to the times. Hiring Day was part of the longer economy cycle in which most debts were collected and settled in the New Year's Day. Damn, and you niggas celebrate that shit. Well, anyway, says Alexander McCrossan, an expert on history of New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, professor of history of Southern Methodist University, who writes about Hiring Day in her forthcoming book, Time's Touchstone, the New Year in America. Some enslaved people were put up for auction that day and held under contracts that started in January. These transactions also took place all year long, and contracts could last for a different amount of time. These deals were conducted privately among families, friends, and business contracts, and slaves were handed over in town squares and courthouses steps, and sometimes simply in the side of the road, according to Divided Mastery, Slave Hiring in the American South by Jonathan D. Martin. Go down. Accounts of cruelty of Hiring Day came from the records left by those who secured their freedom, who described spending the day before January 1st, hoping and praying that their hirers would be humane and that their families could stick together. I cannot imagine that. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. It says, "Of all days in the year, the slaves dread New Year's Day, the worst day of any." A slave named Lewis Clark said in a 1842 account, "On New Year's Day, we went to the auctioning block to be hired to the highest bidder for 1 year." Israel Campbell wrote in a memoir published in 1861 in Philadelphia, in which he described being hired out 3 times. All right. It says, Whoa, what happened? That where the saying comes from that what you do on New Year's Day, you would be done all the rest of the year. A former slave known as Sister Harrison said in an interview in 1937. Harriet Jacobs wrote a particular detailed account in Slave's New Year's Day chapter of her 1861 autobiography, indicating the life of a slave girl. Hiring Day at the South takes place on New Year's first. I mean, 1st of January, Salakia. On the second, the slaves are expected to go to their new masters. She wrote, she observed slaves, owners, and farmers ran out their human cattle for extra income during the period between the cotton and corn harvest and the next planting season. From the Christmas to New Year's Eve, many families would wait in anxiety to find out whether they would be rented out to whom. On New Year's Day, at the appointed hour, the grounds of thronging with men, women, and children waiting like criminals to hear their doom pronounced, Jacobs wrote. That's crazy, yo. Man, that's what this is why the Lord know how to kindle the spirit, man. That's all I gotta say. Cause you devils got a lot to pay for, man. A lot to pay for. And when that comes, in the kingdom we might have in our Passover. I don't know. We're just gonna be trading you like nothing, man. But I'm gonna read on. It says, one of these faithful days, Jacob saw a mother led 7 children to the auction block. She knew that some of them would be taken from her, but they took all. The slave trader who took the children wouldn't tell her where he was taking them because it depended on where he could get the highest price. Jacobs said she would never forget the mother's crying out, "Gone, all gone. Why don't God kill me?" And when I read that, I was like, "Wow, that hurt. That's tough, man." All her children, man, and something else that came into mind. Let me see. Me go and read that again. Deuteronomy 28 and 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and that's what happened. All right. If you was in the house of the Reynolds house, you know, you grew up there and everything like that with your father, your mother, and the next thing you know, the whole entire family split for a whole year. And then your next owner, let's say the Cohens, they're evil. You know, they're more wicked than the last one. Salakia. All right. So these are the things that Jake had to worry about in that particular time. These are the things that Jake had to dread. Okay. They had to dread the fact of that their families will be broken forever. All right. And these are part of the curses that the Lord has put upon Israel. All right. It says, and thine eyes shall look and fail for longing for them all day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. In another film too, 12 Years a Slave, when the woman lost her two children, you know, she couldn't stop crying. She couldn't stop crying, man. So we're familiar with pains and anguish. Where in the hell these Jays, you know, small hatters, where in the hell have they went through that shit? Okay? Every year in New Year's, for under the 400-year mark, your family's being traded like baseball cards, like they have no value. All right? So the fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be oppressed and crushed always. All right, go down, jump down real quick. It says, Deuteronomy 28 and 64. It said, the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto another. So not only was he scattered throughout the whole four corners of the earth, within the four corners of the earth, we were scattered abroad. All right, we were scattered within those regions as well, even unto the other. And there shall thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall thy sole of thy feet have rest. And that's, you're talking about anxiety, you're talking about PTSD and all these other different terminology. This is what our people had to go through. All right, they didn't find no rest, even when they find rest. That's why a lot of Jake family is never stable. You know, sometimes you move multiple times in your lifetime. You know, and then it could be for a whole bunch of different circumstances, but it's proven that these curses are upon us. All right, you could never sit there and say, "Oh, my family's from this place and they live in this place for hundreds of years," and none of that. All right, it's proven that once again we are those people. But the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart, failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. Literally, the Lord did that to us, man. All right? Literally, the Lord did that to us. It says, and thy life shall be hang in doubt before thee. So you don't even know on that day what was going to happen. You didn't know if you was going to stay in the plantation you was, or you was going to go to some different sick, demented person. You just didn't know. So your life was in doubt. All right? It says, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Because you may get away with one person, but when you get to the next plantation, it's a whole nother atmosphere, man. So this is the dread that our people had to deal with. Okay? This is the hell that our people had to deal with. So when people try to downplay what happened to Jake in America and the Caribbean islands and so forth, you out of your mind. We are the children of Israel, man. Jeremiah 15, was it 15 and 4? Jeremiah 15, I believe it's 5. It says, who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Because we was what? We was cattle. All right, human cattle. They didn't care what took place to us as a people. They didn't give a damn. So the Lord's not going to give a rat's rear end. When this shit, listen, man. Everything that you have done unto us shall be done unto you. Real quick, Obadiah 15. On 15 it says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. And what is that reward that the Lord is speaking of? Everything you have done unto the children of Israel is going to be done unto you. All right? Payback, man. And you have our people celebrate that day to this very day. What was it? Sunday, New Year's Day. All right? People Sunday night, people was getting drunk and doing all this madness, but not knowing the other history about it. Joel 3, definitely have to go to here. I'll start at 1. Joel 3 and 1, it says, for behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, and I'll gather nation, and I also will gather the nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will plead with them there for my people, for my inheritance, Israel. So the Lord's gathering all nations right now, as we speaking, to that great valley of Jehoshaphat, which is what? Yahweh Shaphat, the Lord's judgment. The Lord's about to judge all these nations. All right. A lot of people like to say, well, y'all always talk about the white man. What about the Arabs and this? No, all y'all guilty. Because we just read what happened in the Americas. We didn't read what happened in the rest of the world. And how can we forget this? How they call it? It's another terminology for the Sahara Desert, or the Sahara slave trade. All right, with Ishmael and the other nations in the east took Israel and spread them abroad, and how he used to castrate the men, cut their thing off. All right, the Lord didn't forget. You may have forgotten. You have our people may have forgotten, but the Lord haven't forgotten. All nations are called for this, man. All right. So I will plead for them there for my people. And that's not talking about pleading like, look, why did you do that for? No. The Hebrew word for plea is shapat, to judge. All right. So to govern, to vindicate, punish. So the talking is over. Let's look up the word vindicate. I like that. Let's see what it says.
Vindicate.
Clear someone of blame or suspicious. Show or prove to be right, reasonable, or justified. So the Lord is going to vindicate himself for justifying and destroying you. All right? Because what you did to the Lord's people. All right? So judgment is coming. And it says, for my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So your act alone, like that guy said, the regal house of Judah, or Yahweh, you know, but it's not just the regal house of Judah, it's the whole entire the whole 12 tribes. All right, we are sovereign. We are people of highest status. We royal people. You have scattered the Lord's royal people throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people. And then we not just read that. All right, they casted lots for the Lord's people. A good showing is that in like in that movie Roots, you know, $1 here, $5, $10, you know, not, well, they didn't say $5, $10, but they would just keep going the price, and the guy would speak fast, and they would raise their hands, and you know, and then sold to yeah, like I don't know, it keep popping in my head, Reynolds. All right, sold to the Reynolds family right there. You got yourself a good buck right here. And then if they're married, they'll send the wife to another plantation. All right. Obviously, if they're siblings, they'll separate them. So they casted lots for the Lord's people. All right, and have given a boy for a harlot. And so what did they do to the boys? All right, they sodomized them. Okay. Once again, another film that, I mean, this film was not beyond its time, but it was so vile that they said they couldn't even play it in America, which was Goodbye Uncle Tom. All right, that was made in Haiti. All right, and that shows it all. There was a scene where the little young boys were harlots, okay, and they did whatever they want. Okay, they had the boys all turned out, you know. This is what you did to the Lord's people, man. And sold a girl for wine that they might drink. So they sold the children of the Lord like it was nothing. Yea, what have you to do with me, or Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? And who used to dwell in Tyre and Zidon? The Hamites, all right, the Hamites. But who's there now? Ishmael. Okay. And obviously the coast of Palestine. So all these nations is Esau, Ham, Ishmael, Moab, Ammon, Ham again. All right. Psalms 83 tells you directly who is plotting against the Lord's people. All these other nations, man. It said, will you render me a recompense? Would you pay the Lord back? Would you give the Lord, like they try to give reparations right now to in California, talking about $230,000 to poor people, where the American dollar is at its lowest value. All right, that's why you want to give the Lord's people money, like that's supposed to vindicate, that's supposed to make things right. Nah, we're not. You can't make that right like that. He said, if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. So the Lord is going to have you pay the ultimate price. Your ass is going to be in chains. You're going to be taken down, all right, and be sold into auction and blocks. Because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried it into your temples, my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. Because how did the transatlantic slave trade really started? It started with Hamitic nations, Ishmael, which had their own slave trade thing going. All right, the Sahara slave trade, they mastered it. They made a deal with the small hatters. The small hatters sent the boats. Okay, they started in Spain, and then the small hatters set up shop in the west coast of Africa, and had the locals and some of our people sold each other out. All right, and they sold the Lord's people throughout all the four corners of the earth. Because the Grecians is Esau. All right, it says that you might remove them far from their border, and they removed the Lord's people far from their border. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. It's in my head, so get the one in. Yep, Revelation 17. I just want to hit to the point. Revelation 17 and there it is, 16. I'm 6, sorry. It says, and I saw the woman. Who was that woman? That woman, which is, when you read up, it's talking about America. All right. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth, which is America. America is that was set up from the beginning of time to be utterly destroyed. And it says, 17:6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admonishment. So when John saw this woman, she was drinking the blood of the saints. All right. So nothing but bloodshed was shed in the shores of America. Prove it again. Revelations 18, I believe it's 22. Maybe more further. There it is, 24. Slakia. It says, and her was found the blood of the prophets and the blood, and it said, and of the saints, and all that were slain upon the earth. So in America is found the blood of the saints. Who are the saints? The Israelites. All right. The Hebrew word for saints is kodash, means holy. You read Psalms 50, it tells you that the Lord made a covenant with Israel. Saints, gather my saints together. Made a covenant, who the Lord made a covenant with. All right. Leviticus 26 and 46 tells you who the Lord made a covenant. He made a covenant with the Israelites. So here in America is the blood of the saints of the Lord. Okay. Revelations 13 and 9, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right. So all those that took the Lord's people into captivity is going to go into captivity. Thus say the scriptures. This is the only way reparations of any sort is going to be justified. All right. That is the Lord. Matter of fact, Genesis 9:6, it says, whoso sheddeth men's blood, by men shall his blood be shed. So you can't get out, you can't get around it. All right. This is why this place is a curse. All right. Exodus, is it 21? Yeah. Exodus 21:16 or 22:16. It's like it. Exodus 21:16, it says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. That's the law. All right. That's the law of the Bible. All right. You stole a people, then you sold them, and you still to this day, this very moment, we are in your hands. All right. We are in your hands. So Esau is screwed. These other nations are screwed. Everybody that's gathered to get here in America is gathered for their own destruction or to be saved. And the only people that's going to be saved is the elect of the nation of Israel. Isaiah 14:21. It says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So the Lord's going to utterly destroy you for what you did to his people. Now let me go back to Joel. I'm going to wrap it up from there. Joel 3:7, it says, behold, I will raise them out of the place whether you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. All right. So the Lord is raising us up in the place that where they sold us, which proves it. Back in Revelations 11, I think 10. It says, matter of fact, yeah, it's 10. To the point. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and send gifts one to another. And that gifts was who? Us. We was those gifts that was given. All right. We was being sold throughout the whole four corners of the earth for livestock, for materialistic things of no value. Hey, our blood was cheap in their sight. Our lives didn't mean nothing. And they was happy about it. They made merry. It was making gifts. 100% economy booms all over the world. The majority of the golden age was built because of slavery. It says, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth, which was talking about Israel and on the kingdom of Judah, the northern and the kingdom tribe. I mean, the northern and the southern kingdom. All right. Verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of the life from the Most High entered into them. And that's what happened from 1969, the late 1960s, until this very moment when Abba Bivens went out there to speak the truth, the legacy as continuously. Now we standing upon our feet. It says, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right, which is who? The elites. All these nations see brothers in the highways and byways, and they fear. All right, they doing things out of fear. Okay, hatred and fear, because they never expected that we was going to be able to come back to who we were. So the Lord did that. That's a prophecy that's been fulfilled. Okay, and like it says in Ezekiel 37th chapter, it said a great army. All right. Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, tells you that the righteous man shall stand in great boldness for such who has afflicted him. Who has afflicted us? Esau, our number one enemy, and out of Esau, Amalek, the number one enemy who profited the most out of all of them, or for our back. Okay. It says Oh, let me get this real quick. I gotta get this. Zechariah 11 and 15. It says, I'm sorry, 11:5. It says, who possesses slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say. So what do they sell them? And it's auctioning blocks. All right. The first slaves was sold in Water Street in New York City. All right, which was what the forecoming of what you might call it, Wall Street. Okay, where they trade goods throughout the whole four corners of the earth. They started with us. Okay, it says, "Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. Their own shepherds pity them not." Prophecies are being fulfilled, man, and we seen the atrocity of what took place back in Joel 3 and 7, 8 now. It says, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabeans and a people from far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. So we're going to do what you did unto us. We're going to sell your children. We're going to sell your daughters and your sons. Okay? That's true reparations. You know, for you crackers out there that want to make things right, well, it doesn't matter if you want to make things right or not, because we're going to put you in slavery. And we're going to sell you like the pieces of shits that you are. You're not going to have no options. You're going to get up, see your beloved child, and like, oh, I'm so happy to have you. The child's going to be crying, smiling in your face, holding your hand. You're like, wow, that's me right there. And as you get comfortable, and we don't have to do it at night. We don't have to sneak like you did. We're just going to take that little bastard and sell his ass. All right? We're going to sell your children like it's nothing. Thus save the scriptures, man. Thus save the scriptures. Because everything you have done is going to be done unto you and then some. Okay? That's recompense. That's righteous judgment. All right? None of this, oh, we're going to pay our way out of it. Nah, you can't pay your way out of this shit. Okay? Matter of fact, Jeremiah 30:16, it says, yep. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So everything, and the scripture says double. All right, it's not gonna be a thing where an eye for an eye. No, the Lord said double. Revelations 18 tells you we're gonna do unto you double what you did unto us. So we're gonna not only sell your children to each other like it's nothing. You're gonna what's that word? You're gonna go to beyond galaxies and different planets that you wanted to, but just to build up our kingdom. All right, to build up where we're gonna lay our heads. That's your legacy. That's your purpose. And after that 1,000 years is over, then you're gonna be destroyed. Okay? You're gonna be destroyed. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. So the Lord is going to have mercy on Israel, and Israel only. All right? It says, and the city shall be built upon her own heaps, and the palaces shall remain after the manner thereof. So it's going to be, the kingdom of heaven is going to be glorious, man. We're going to finally get the rest that we need. I'm going to end it off on this. Isaiah 14:1, it says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined, which is talking about the Israelite foreigners, with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of their Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captive they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And we're gonna rule over our oppressors. We're gonna same thing that you did unto us in righteousness, we're gonna do unto you. All right, we're not gonna do the sick shit that you did unto us. All right, sodomizing children, sodomizing anybody. No, we're gonna do everything in righteousness, and that's gonna even hurt you more. All right, we're gonna show you how it's done, and it's not gonna be like I stated. It's not gonna be 1,000 years, and no, it's gonna be forever. Thus saith the scriptures, man. Thus saith the scriptures. Matter of fact, I know I'm getting excited. Revelations 2 and 25. It says, "But that which ye have already hold fast till I come, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as of vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I receive of my Father." So the Yahweh Shai, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, is going to be the first. He's going to be the greatest slave master ever. All right. He's going to get the first crop of the slave. He's going to get the elites, the very top elites who haven't worked a day in their life. He's going to get Esau himself. He's going to have them. All right. Yahweh Shai is going to get them first, then King David, then the 12, then the rest of 144,000. All right, we all going to have slaves in the kingdom of heaven. Thus save the scriptures. So with that being said, I hope you brothers edify. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.